What's going on, Kent TV?
What's happening, Kent TV?
It's been a while. My name is Chuck Carter.
And my name is Cody Cotton.
And we're two of four co-founders for a Greater Good Foundation. I feel like it's been so long.
It's been a while. We're going to have to touch you guys up on a lot. What's going on from service, program-based, event-based, the whole nine, man. It's May 2019, so we won't take too much of your time, but definitely tune in with ears. You might want to grab a pen and a pad.
Right. The focus of this broadcasting is to really streamline a lot of changes that we've made, give you guys insight on some of our media presence that we have made and will continue to make, some of our mission changes as it relates to our statement and how we will attack. That's not the best word for it, attack, but how we will approach. We was on the same page.
Right, we on the same page.
How we will continue to approach our service from internally and how you guys receive it through social media, through our newsletter, through the podcast and video broadcast and moving forward.
Yeah, so just to make it real simple, starting off with the Greater Good Foundation, got started back around 2016, June 2016, and we started this to impact, to serve, and to teach and educate people more about the holistic selves. And through that, definitely with the new mission statement or revised mission statement, being able to utilize the power of self-education, exposure, nutrition, and service to live more holistic lives and teach our young people and communities that all over. So that's been one of our biggest, I wouldn't even say goals. It's just been a lifestyle we've been living in and out of the foundation. So when it comes down to that, we wanted to be able to show that broadly. We wanted to be able to create a picture of not just AGGF as a business or a nonprofit, but as a company. We're more than a nonprofit. Everything that we do it doesn't just have the name nonprofit on it. We do a lot, and we just want to show the world that just because you're doing something great, you're doing something amazing, doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So it's all about the journey.
Absolutely. And something that we've tried to be super intentional about is how we can live our individual lives within the foundation, outside of the foundation, and connect those. And because we're very intentional about how we approach our service, how we approach our nutrition, and how we approach how we want to impact the communities and the people that we touch, we wanted to be able to make it so cohesive that we're being fully transparent throughout the entire process. We wanted our everyday lives to be an example of what our nonprofit represented on a day-to-day basis. So it actually took quite a bit of time to figure out what mission statement we thought worked best for us. A lot of times when you're looking at mission statements, some are very simple, some can be very complex, some can be very detailed, others can be straight to the point, a straight line, couple sentences, couple syllables, and not very descriptive. And Cody, it was something that Cody was very adamant about. He wanted our he wanted our mission statement to represent very clearly what we did, what we do on a day-to-day basis. Not only, from a macro standpoint, but on a micro standpoint. If you read our mission statement, does it identify with who we are as individuals, and does it identify with the service that we bring to our communities on a day-to-day basis? And I think Cody did a great job of helping us narrow that down and find our niche. In the space of service.
And definitely overall, just talking about it, man, we could talk about this all day. At first, we were trying to figure out how can we be as transparent as possible with everything that we're doing. How can we really show that with a nonprofit, it is really more than a nonprofit. There are so many different types of nonprofits. You have Make-A-Wish Foundation. You have shout out Social Works. You got so many different nonprofits. Bam. You have mentor-based nonprofits that are just program-based. Then you have nonprofits that are event-based. AGGF, we do both. So we're not the average nonprofit that you're going to find just setting up events for month by month or even quarterly. We're 365. Last time I think we were here, we spoke And we hinted at briefly about us making a purchase that would kind of represent our enterprise side of the business. We purchased a home. We bought it, renovated it, and now approaching this fall, we're going to be able to have anywhere from 8 to 12 students living in that home. So I'm going to actually let Chuck hit on our home a little bit, then we're going to bring it right back because this is Ken TV. We want to talk about the service that we got coming up the next couple of months, and also just June. June is a big month. Ways to get involved, ways to serve, and ways to really get after it. So, Chuck, man, I know I just took you out the loop, man, but go ahead and hit on the enterprise.
Before we transition into our projects and where we've been focused in the last few months, we wanted to make sure we nailed down exactly where what our mission statement is and exactly what it means as it relates to our day-to-day activity. So that mission statement is: we utilize the power of self-education, exposure, nutrition, and service to inspire young people and communities globally. That's our mission statement, and we want to dissect that. We want to dissect that almost word by word so you can understand there's intent behind every word, and why we chose the words that we use. So first is self-education. That's the foundation of all that we do. It was literally what inspired us to start the foundation in the first place. And to segue that into Cody's question about what is a greater you and what is the house. So through our mentorship, we began this nonprofit organization as a mentorship organization serving high-risk youth across the Chicagoland area. We were working with some of, quote-unquote, the toughest kids in the city. And one of the things that we noticed was no matter how much we poured into them, a lot of them would return back into either tough home environments or tough communities where, resources were scarce, educational opportunities were scarce, and just exposure to bigger and better things were limited. So we came up with a definitely big dream, a big goal of creating an environment where we can keep the kids 365 days a year and give them access to the top teachers, access to mentorship, food and nutrition, and as it relates to the mission statement, self-education. Teach them outside of the classroom. What are we teaching them about life skills? What are we teaching them about themselves? So self-education, for us, our mentor, Jim, one of our mentors, I guess you could say, one of our virtual mentors used to say, a formal education will make you a living, a self-education will make you a fortune. And we firmly believe that. So self-education on any space in life or any area of life is super important to us. Mind, body, and spirit, to be more specific.
Yeah.
Cody, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to the self-education piece.
Self-education, know thyself. You have to. And like Chuck just said, holistically, you have to know thyself mentally, physically, spiritually. And the root word of educate is educo. It means to develop, draw, and pull from within. And that's really what you're doing with the kids. Like Chuck hinted at, we were working with youth, and we're making great progress with them. But when they get back in the home environment, everything will reset. So for us, right away, we didn't even think about the house. We really went for the boarding school. Like, that was really, and that is the end goal. Chicago's first residential high school for high-risk youth. And we're trying to find better ways to say that because we really believe in affirming our youth in terms of what we believe in them. And Sylvia, shout out to Kid TV for pumping us up. We really believe in that. So for us, we couldn't just go right into a brick and mortar, $100 million into a school. But what we could do was take half a year traveling throughout the country, visiting the top boarding schools.
That served our demographic of students.
Exactly, that served our demographic of students. Visiting conscious-based education universities, visiting university that's based upon meditation, things that would really change the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and habitually what we do. So until we were able to do that, we were kind of just,
Yeah. So we were able to do that. We decided we had some great consultation. We met with a senator in Indiana. His name is Eddie Melton. He just asked us a simple question.
Shout out to Eddie Melton.
He asked us, what does this vision look like on a smaller scale? Is there a prerequisite to it? Is there something that can provide a proof of concept before you invest hundreds of millions of dollars into exactly, into an establishment. So we went back to the drawing board to consider what that might look like, and a Greater You was born, where we house, like Cody said, 10 to 12 typically low income boys who are just looking for an opportunity to restart and change their future moving forward. And we can create the culture that we want. We can create a safe and loving environment, and while challenging them and pushing them to be better than even what we could expect from them. So self-education is a foundation of all that we do.
Man,
we went in on that one.
Yeah, we went in. I'm gonna take the lead on exposure. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Okay, yep. I need to wipe my lips, so I'm good. So exposure. We believe a child, not just a child, anybody. You can't be what you can't see. So exposure is so unique. So not just exposure inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. It's the same reason why our bread and butter program is Blueprint Mentoring. We go 12 weeks, when 6 weeks we're in the classroom, the other 6 weeks we're taking them to fine dining, Chicago Architect Center, Social Works, universities, Northwestern, different places that have them understand that you can have whatever you put your mind to, but more importantly, when you're able to physically see it and get induced in that environment, it's a lot easier to touch it, feel it, and see yourself in that place in the future. So for us, experience-based education is huge, and we do that. Somebody who else do that, another organization who does that really, really well, is My Block, My Hood, My City. Shout out to Jamal. Very, very close and similar in terms of how we do our experiences, how we engage.
Yes. I mean, I don't have much to add to that. Anything to add to that.
But what we can add to that is, if you know anybody who have very unique exposures, you can always reach out to us at www.aggfd.org. That's our website at greatergoodfoundation.org. Just last week, met with our guy George, and he brought the helicopter down to the field. Oh my gosh, helicopter was huge. I feel like a little kid, man. I was inside, and I know if it was life-changing for me, I couldn't imagine what it would do for other people.
Yeah, Cody, spill the beans on that one. We're going to keep y'all
We'll keep y'all in tune for that
one. I'll lead the way on nutrition. This is a huge one for us. We felt like this was a silver bullet, something that's not often talked about within our communities. We feel like there is a space where people talk about finances. There's a space where people talk about self-educating, but we don't feel like the conversation is large enough or loud enough about nutrition. And that's not just what we feed ourselves physically, but what we feed ourselves mentally and spiritually. Nutrition is a part of our mission statement, because one of the things that we realized was that we have expectations for ourselves and our young people to self-actualize inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. And what we tend to learn as we grow older is not necessarily what happens to us, it's how we respond to it, aka stress. And how we deal with our stress is largely connected to the things that we put inside ourselves, physically and mentally. What tools do you have or are you using to deal with the stresses of life? It is widely noted that stress causes more illnesses and disease than just about any physical ailment or any physical, I'm just going to say anything physically that you can consume. So nutrition was super important for us to include in our mission, because you can gain all the success in the world, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the health to enjoy it, then it may mean absolutely nothing for you. So I know, Cody, you want to dive in on that.
Yeah, because like you said, nutrition, not just physically with the food we're putting in our body, but mentally and spiritually, and that's what we talk a lot about, energy. We bring it right back down to physics, like we said.
Metaphysics.
Physics, metaphysics, all of the above. The law of gravity. If you don't believe in it and I believe in gravity and we both jump off the roof, no matter what our belief systems on gravity, we're both going to hit the ground. And we view it the same way when it comes down to energy and when it comes down to the law of vibrations. Mm-hmm. We're just saying that everything in this universe is vibrating. Even the food that we're eating, right? So if you're not eating a food that's vibrating at a high frequency, we're high frequency beings. If you're not eating foods that are matching your frequency, you're going to slow something down. You know, we grew up in cultures and households that when we eat, we get done eating that soul food, we talk about catching our itis. But we learned recently, man, you know, itis ain't necessarily a good thing. Itis is probably because the food that you're eating is vibrating at a lower frequency than what you're moving at. So when that hits your body, it collides. You slow down. 30% of our energy throughout the day is spent on digesting food.
70. It's 70%.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
70% of our energy is used digesting food.
So if you're not putting healthy meals in your body, and the key idea is to figure out what's healthy. There's a lot of things. You got to find a balance in everything you do. We're not saying strip down and go completely vegan. Because just because you're vegan doesn't mean everything is good for you as well. So you just have to find out what works for your body, what's more compatible for your body type, your energy, and match it. Just as much as we could talk like that on a nutritional level, it's the same thing mentally and spiritually on the words that you affirm to yourself. But more importantly, when we talk about nutrition, the things you're feeding yourself, what are you affirming to yourself daily? You are what you think about most often. You are what you feel most often. But more importantly, you are what you believe. You are who you believe yourself to be. 'Cause after all, a belief is nothing but a thought that we choose to think over and over and over again. And if you're not picking belief systems that's encouraging you, building you up, or building your community, what's the point of even doing it for?
Yes. Yeah, I'd be crazy to even try to add to that. Just gonna let that spot on. I'm just going to snap. I'm going to clap.
Yeah, we look forward to it. We look forward to it. We're going to be talking about this heavily, in depth, because we're grateful that Can TV gave us this platform, but we're also going to be doing more podcasts, more videos, and just whatever we can. You got to meet people where they're at. And everybody might not be able to get onto TV, man. Everybody might not be able to find us this way. So we're going to try to put this information out there as much as possible, because we got to raise our level of thinking. We got to raise our consciousness. We got to feel better. We got to vibrate better. And that's the end goal, to teach not just the youth, but the communities globally to live a more holistic life.
Information changes situations.
Yes, it does.
So segueing into, transitioning into the last component of our pillars, the fourth component of our pillars. So we have self-education, we have exposure, we have nutrition, and now we have service.
Service.
That is, we believe that all of our purpose on this planet is to serve. How we choose to serve is your decision to make. So we included service in our mission statement to be very intentional about creating, just like Cody said, create opportunities and platforms for not only ourselves, but the people that we impact to give back. Because one of the things that we learned going into these high schools and colleges, for that matter, a lot of people don't believe they have anything to give.
Yeah.
And you have time, you have treasure, and they say you have talents, right? But that's so true. A conversation with someone, lending an ear for a split second, can change someone's whole mood, can change someone's entire perspective about people, about humanity, about society at large. So intentionally creating opportunities for people to give back on a consistent basis. It generally introduces, in our experience, gratitude. And gratitude is one of the emotions that we talk about the most. It's one of the key things that we say has the ability to change someone's perspective about life. If you move through life with a feeling of gratitude, we believe it keeps you in a spirit of love.
I'll say it.
In a spirit of love.
Because gratitude, always stand in the attitude of gratitude, whatever you consider yourself to be. But gratitude is the emotion, it's the energy, it's the vibration that keeps you connected to whatever you consider to be the higher power.
I didn't know if we could go to.
Whatever you consider to be the higher power, gratitude keeps you connected to that source. And if we're thinking about the same thing we talking about before with energy, it's the same thing. I'm not sure if you was done.
No, go ahead. Go for it.
Okay, I was want to touch on what you said. Service. Service is so huge, man, because it's a lifestyle. It's a norm. It's not just something you do just because, it's a facade that everybody's getting ready to do it. You're not trying to help the homeless and try to record, document every little thing. You need to do it while the camera is off too, integrity. And if you're trying to figure out your purpose, if you're really trying to figure out your purpose, it is serving. and growing. If you look at everything around in this universe, everything on this planet, just go outside and take a look. Everything is growing towards the sun. Everything is serving one another, whether it's the birds and the bees, whether it's the plants, whether it's everything. Everything is working so harmonious together in divine order. So when we look at us, we just say our job, our purpose is to serve. But how we serve, like Chuck always says, is our passion. Our passion is serving the youth. Our passion is serving, educating, teaching people more about their holistic self. Our passion is teaching people how to grow and broaden their perspective so they can be able to leave these places, so they can see with their faculties in the mind some things that we just don't get taught in school. So, like we say again, purpose is to serve. Our passion is how we do it. So when you're trying to find out your purpose, we'll answer that for you right away. You got to serve, man. You'll get paid for the amount of service that you render. Your ability to do it and the means of replacing you. That's the law of compensation. We didn't even want to go there. I'm telling you, we're going to get over a lot. We're going to talk about a lot, from laws, everything. We want to better everybody that's listening to this, and more importantly, we want to better the community at whole.
And the last piece of that mission statement is to inspire young people and communities globally to live more holistic lives. Holistic being that key word, and I know global is a buzzword too. We coming. But holistic. And Cody's been touching on it the entire time. Mind, body, and spirit. But we also mean to enjoy all of the fruits of life, to be prosperous, to be educated, to experience all that life has to offer us. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others don't feel short around us, right?
Ian Williamson. I love it. Quota.
We plan to serve. We plan to explore. We plan to live abundantly and prosperously. And we want to be examples of that inside of our communities and outside of our communities. For everyone to be able to plug into what we're doing or what we're saying, and to be able to connect on a very, very, very personal level. So, Cody, I know you want to dive into that holistic piece of holistic lives.
Oh, man. I feel like we hit everything.
All right, say less.
I'll dive into it even more if you need me to. How you want me to
hit? We can transition out of it. So,
okay.
Self-education, exposure, nutrition, and service. We will be displaying those pillars in a few various ways, in a few different ways. The first being enterprise.
Yeah.
You want to dive into enterprise?
Yeah, enterprise is how we do business. This is a company. We have to run like a company. We have to move like a company. Therefore, we show different ways we do from behind the scenes, from sponsorships, being able to fill out grants. More importantly, just getting people involved, internships, different ways. Enterprise is so important because it takes money to run a business. Mm-hmm. It's an important asset. We look at money not to be something all on a pedestal, but we understand that money makes you more the person you are. Social media, internet, it's an enhancer. It shows you more the person you are. If you're rude, if you're a bad person,
if you're
selfish without money, if I give you more money, it's just going to boost up those same characteristics and qualities. So we look at it the same way.
It's a magnifying glass.
It's a magnifying. That's why it's very important to know thyself and to understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, understand your habits. But more importantly, when you add magnifiers to your life, it's just more of that comes.
Yes. So enterprise is our opportunity, is our chance to show our supporters and the people who follow us how you run a business. How do you take something from an idea to a lifestyle, to affluence, to prosperity, to supporting families and communities on a large scale. Enterprise is our ability to, as we mentioned earlier, live as a professional and show you that, be an individual and show you that, and then bring it together. Because there's a lot that we do inside the foundation that we would like to show you, and there's a lot that we do outside of the foundation, and we would love to show you that. And a lot of that is how to create this and create wealth doing so. create income, doing revenue, because you can't run this without that. So we have about 5 minutes left, so we're going to expedite this. The second piece, go ahead and dive into it, Cody. Impact.
Impact is everything we do. It's how we serve. It's how we inspire. It's how we show exposure. So impact is so unique because literally it is everything. That is the whole foundation. When we went into these 4 pillars, from educate, exposure, nutrition, and service, and we wrapped it all up and we said that is AGGF, that's a Greater Good Foundation. We hashtagged it as more than a nonprofit because impact, education, enterprise, and transparency is everything that the company embodies as a whole. That's what everybody on the outside see. Our mission statement are just as in line with it, from internally to externally. So impact is everything.
It's everything. It's the result. It's the result of all that we do.
It's what you see.
The next piece, and I'll dive into it, is transparency. It's just being not only financial transparency, which is huge in the nonprofit space, but also integrity. We are who we say we are. One of our key pillars when we were walking into high schools was we talked about integrity. And one of the things that we learned is when an individual does not have a picture of what something means, it tends to create confusion and doubt in their mind. So when you use the word integrity, most people don't have a picture of what that means. So we had to show our young man and women in some instances, what integrity meant. So we allowed them to follow us on social media. We allowed them to become a part of our everyday lives because unfortunately, we are taught at a very young age to separate our personal life from our professional life. But that doesn't always give our young people a close enough seat at the table to see how you maneuver through the ups and the downs of life. Mm-hmm. So integrity and allowing them to add us on social media and being a part of some of our business meetings and being with us at home and see how we communicate with our mothers, our sisters, and our girlfriends gave them an up close and personal view of, okay, he is in the classroom who he says he is. He's outside of the classroom who he says he is in the classroom. That's what integrity is. So transparency is not only financial, but it's also personal for us. And Cody, education, last piece.
Education is everything we do. Again, impact is the result. Education, not just outside when it comes down to our youth, when it comes down to our communities globally, teaching them more about themselves, but also education within a group. Even within the foundation, transparency, as he said, waking up every morning doing your disciplines, whether it's 10 things you're grateful for, whether it's meditation, whether you're finding things to affirm. Yes. Education is so powerful because most of us have the habit that when we're done with school, we make it a point to stop learning. Mm. And it's very important that not only as a lifestyle that we teach other people to live and we're influential in it, that we're doing it for ourselves and they're always becoming lifelong learners.
Yes, we said it. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. To wrap things up and bring it full circle, we have a few events coming up, a few amazing events coming up. So please, if you're not busy, even if you are busy, let's just make time. Let's make time. You don't have to stay for the whole event. Come show face, smile, hug, bring some positive love and energy.
Yeah.
We have an event coming up on June 1st. It's a men's advance event with Rob Marshall and Corey Brown. And it's the subject is strategies to advance real men living in a real world. It's at Oak Park River Forest Library in Oak Park, Illinois, from 9:30 to 1 p.m. We will be teaching the first workshop from 9:30 to 10:30. So come out. If you can't come from 4 hours, come for the latter half of the event. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of good people in the room.
Next, June 15th. We're also, just to highlight, also June 1st. June 1st, we're also doing a commencement speech for Mecca Elementary grade school. How much time we got left?
Less than a minute. Keep moving.
Less than a minute. We got it for Mecca Elementary grade school. We'll talk about that later. They're amazing. But June 15th, we have our 3rd annual event. Let's Grow Together. We're partnering with the Southside YMCA. We're partnering with Project I Am with Jaquil Jackson, and we're also partnering with a few others where we're going to make blessing bags for the homeless, food bags for the homeless, and that's going to be from 2 to 4 p.m. June 15th.
June 15th, and last but not least, We have Champ Camp on June 20th through the 21st. You can find all of the information that you need to get your child registered ages 9 through 18 years old. It's June 20th and the 21st. You can find the info at heartpowerinc.org, and it's spelled as it sounds, heartpowerinc.org. Click on events and find Champ Camp. It is located at Proviso East, Maywood, Illinois. And it's pretty much a morning through afternoon event. We look forward to seeing y'all here, coming out. People,
yes.
Thank you. Kent
Thank
TV,
you.
thank you. We appreciate the time. Hey, stay in tune with us. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and we'll be pushing out as much information as we can. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Instagram handles at A Greater Good Foundation, at Cody Cotton _AGGF.
Yes.
At
Mr. Carter _AGGF. And at the end of the day, as always, we just trying to grow together. Peace. Y'all have a good one.
We out.